6:45 now. Today is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The 16th U.S. president, leaving behind some history here in the 608.
Josh Breider's live in Rock County this morning with a very fascinating story about the former president. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, we were in the Lincoln-Tallman House at the Rock County Historical Society in Janesville this morning, and we're actually in the bedroom that Abraham Lincoln once slept in. And I have a very special guest for us joining us right here in the 608 this morning. Mrs. Tallman, thank you so much for having us in your home.
Well, thank you for coming. You know, just 185 years ago, my husband and I hosted Abraham Lincoln here in our home when he was on a Wisconsin speaking tour.
And this was the bedroom that he slept in?
Yes, this was the bedroom that he slept in. And if you're wondering what Wisconsinites thought of Lincoln at that time, I'd like to read a few quotes for you from the Janesville Gazette, 1859.
May I? Please do, yes.
Okay, I've got to go to the light. The article says that the courtroom hall was well filled with ladies and gentlemen. Many present saw Mr. Lincoln for the first time, and his person is tall, lean, and wiry, his complexion dark, his physiognomy homely, and his phrenological developments being peculiar. It is apparent at once that we have homespun, backwoods Abe Lincoln just as nature made him. The article goes on to say, but when he came to make his points tell and to drive home his logical conclusions, the evidence of his profound thought was apparent, while his powers of satire and wit flashed out brilliantly. The article then says the speech was primarily about slavery, and it discusses all of the logical points Lincoln made.
How interesting. So now you're going to point out a few artifacts bringing us back to that year, too.
We do have some important artifacts. For example, this candlestick is an actual piece of the famous Lincoln White House china, and the sculpture next to it was made from a life mask of Lincoln, spring of 1860. He sat with plaster on his face for over an hour. When it was peeled off, he was quoted to have said, "This was anything but agreeable." And many people compare that life mask with the life mask done February of 1865 to show how that dear man aged in those 5 terrible years.
So, Mrs. Tallman, what brought Lincoln here to Rock County?
Lincoln was on a speaking engagement in Wisconsin. He spoke at first at the Wisconsin State Fair, September 30th, 1859, then in Beloit, and then in Janesville.
Wow.
And he had a mission. He wanted to make a difference, and his concern was enslavement of others.
And this was before he actually announced his run for president.
That's correct. He had not announced that he was running. Perhaps he was thinking about it. We don't know.
But kind of getting his name out there.
Yes, and he was well known as a very well speaker. Very good speaker.
Well, Mrs. Tallman, so if people are interested, you do tours of your home,
yes,
and people can come on out and learn more.
Of course. Many of us docents do tours, and we know a lot about the weekend Lincoln was here because we have memoirs written by other guests.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for the tour this morning, Mrs. Tallman. We appreciate it. If you'd like to learn more about the tours here and Abe Lincoln's visit, you can go to the story up on channel3000.com. Again, thanks to the Rock County Historical Society for having us out here in the 608, guys. I love history, and it's so cool to see just what Lincoln's impact was right here in Janesville. Back to you.
To have that newspaper clipping, too, sort of describe what he looked like and how he acted during his speech, that's really neat.
Isn't history cool?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Very cool.